PHP 8.5 was just released, and in this video I want to go through what's new. Now let's start with the URI extension. What it does, it now creates an object of URI. Basically you can provide it a URL and you will get an object where you where you don't need to access it as an array, and you can then access it using object-oriented methods. It's probably not too popular. I have not used it too much, but it's a great addition to the language. A huge one over here is the pipe operator. PHP didn't have anything as a pipe operator, and it definitely helps out. As you can see, if you have something like this where you need to do multiple alterations to some string, it's kinda hard to parse what is going to be happening over here. And with the pipe operator you can now see that it will do the trim function first. It will then replace hyphens with empty spaces, and then empty spaces with a dot, and then it will do string to lower. And you can pretty much guess what is going to happen over here, and it's definitely an improvement. In a previous video I also did this video about BC math functions. I'm guessing it would also be very good for BC math functions. Now for the syntax, I'm not too sure why they needed to have two symbols instead of just one for the pipe. Next we have clone with. It is now possible to update properties during object cloning by passing an associative array to the clone function. This enables straightforward support of the wither pattern for read-only classes. I'm not too sure why is this useful. It's probably something with the read-only classes. Why would you need to pass in arrays? But yeah, previously we had the function with alpha and a lot of syntax. Now we can just do the proper cloning by providing variables. I guess it's more concise. Next we have the no discard attribute. So we can now have a no discard attribute, which is will check whether the returned value is consumed and emit a warning if it is not. So I cannot think of any examples where this could be useful. It's probably not going to get used a lot. Next we have closures and first class callables and constant expressions. Now this is very useful. So previously we had basic access control with expression language, where you basically have a function inside a string, and it wasn't very flexible. Now in the access control, as you can see, you can have a static function that takes in variables, and here we can do all, I think you could do whatever you want basically, and you could do much more difficult access control. So I'm definitely looking to try this thing out and see how this works, because sometimes these would ended up in a separate file. Persistent curl share handles. Unlike curl share init, handles created by curl share init persistent will not be destroyed at the end of the PHP request. If a persistent share handle with the same set of share options is found, it will be reused, avoiding the cost of initializing curl handles each time. So it seems like a optimization for better performances. I haven't used much of this in my code, but it seems definitely as a good option to optimize your code. Next we have array first and array last functions. These are definitely going to get used a lot. Now maybe not as much the array first, because you can have just the index 0 and it probably works very similar, but we now have a function array first. Now array last is definitely a harder function because you need to do the counting of the array, and then you need to insert the count. Ends up with a lot of if statements. Is it a empty array? If it's empty array, then return null. And it's interesting, what does it take as an argument, but it only takes arrays as an argument, so not sure. It's an empty array, so for empty arrays you can return null. So yeah, that's very cool, and I will definitely be using a lot of this array last function for sure. And there's several more things that were fixed that you can check out. There are more deprecations, but overall the most exciting things for me are the array last function, the expressions, and also this pipe operator. Let me know in the comments, what are you looking out for in the PHP 8.5?